Yo, the Woods too slamming for these cold killer labels who ain't had hits since I seen Aunt Mabel. Be doing all the sin like Cain did Abel. Now their money's getting stuck to the gum under the table. That's what you get when you misuse what I invent. Your empire falls and you lose every cent for trying to blow up a scrub. Now that thought was just as bright as a 20-watt light bulb. Should have pumped it when I rocked it. Ninja so stingy they got short arms and deep pockets. This goes on in some companies with majors that scared to death to pump these. First of all, who's your A&R? A mind climber who plays an electric guitar, but he don't know the meaning of dope when he's looking for a suit and tie rap that's cleaner than a bar of soap. And I'm the dirtiest thing in sight. Matter of fact, bring out the girls and let's have a mud fight. And on that note, I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Wayne's Perspective, where we operate in discipline, decency, integrity, and respect. And I'm coming through with another video just for you. And that verse to start things off, ladies and gentlemen, was courtesy of Wu-Tang Clan's classic, Protect Your Neck. That verse from GZA was voted by the Source magazine as the dopest verse of 1993. It is one of my favorite verses from him. And speaking of the GZA, the genius, the backbone of the clan, he will be the subject of today's 30-year retrospective celebrating and commemorating his 1995 debut Liquid Swords, which was released on November 7th of 1995. And like most of you listening to this, I'm pretty sure we first heard GZA on what else? The greatest opener of all time, Bring the Ruckus from the Into the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers album. Yo, my Wu-Tang slang is mad fucking dangerous and more deadly than the stroke of an axe. Chopping through your back, giving bystanders heart attacks. Look, don't get me going in on here. But yeah, like I said, that's when I first heard GZA, and from there, of course, I've been a fan. This man has been one of the most underrated MCs in hip-hop history. And this album, I'm going to enjoy doing this. And I'm letting y'all know right off the bat, this is in my top 10 favorite albums of all time, number 6 to be exact. Also, every song on this album is a 5 out of 5. So once I talk about the songs and break things down, y'all don't have to worry about me saying 5 out of 5 for this, 5 out of 5 for that. I'm just letting y'all know right off top that every song on this album from start to finish is a 5 out of 5 rated song, which already puts it in elite status. But then again, if you're in my top 10 favorite albums of all time, you're already in elite status. We're going to go ahead and get right into the album. Man, I'm going to enjoy doing this one, y'all. So like I said, Liquid Swords, this was released on November 7th, 1995. And as longtime fans will remember, 1995, that was the year of the Wu, because ODB, God rest his soul, already had his debut on the shelves, Return to the 36 Chambers, the dirty version, as well as Raekwon's debut on the solo tip, Only Built for Cuban Links. Both of those albums were in the stores at the time Liquid Swords dropped. Wu-Tang Clan was on top as far as the East Coast goes. I mean, what a creative year that was. I mean, I still remember it like it was yesterday, and it was so much fun getting all this classic material in real time. And with all that being said, we're finally going to get into the album. All of the songs on here are produced by the RZA, with the exception of number 13, which we're going to get to shortly. We're going to start with the opener, the title track, Liquid Swords, and RZA, he also has some additional vocals on the hook. Now, Genius.com had an interview from GZA, and I want to read these quotes when he was talking about this song. Quote unquote, GZA said, "This track is just braggadocious. It isn't meant to stand for anything. I'm talking about my skills and how I'm better than the rest. Usually I take a beat home and write to it for a few days, but it wasn't like that with this track. I think RZA played the beat for me and I just spit to it right there. The hook was actually a routine from around 84 that me, RZA, and Old Dirty would do." So much props to Genius.com for providing those quotes from this interview. And GZA, y'all know how he do. He accurately described this song so well. It's one of the many classics that effectively showcases sharp and precise wordplay on the mic. It's awesome material. Definitely one of the greatest openers of all time. No question about that. Ninjas are fascinated with how the shit began. Get vaccinated. My logo is branded in your skin. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So again, classic to start the album, the title track no less. Moving on to song number 2, we got Duel of the Iron Mike featuring Master Killer, Inspector Deck, and the late ODB. Duel of the Iron Mike. It's the 52 fatal strikes. Man, this joint right here still makes me go crazy when I bump it today. And this is what we would call vintage Wu-Tang. And to say that it's awesome all around, that would be a complete understatement here. And quite frankly, this is one of the dopest songs, Wu-Tang specifically, and hip-hop in general, I've ever heard. And literally everything that these men said is so quotable. And trust me, man, once you listen to it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And longtime fans, y'all know how dope this song is. GZA came through with a tight opening verse. Master Killer continued the momentum with his verse in the middle. And then Inspector Deck, usually the king of the opening verse, he closed this song on such a classic note. It's completely awesome from start to finish. Oh, and speaking of awesome, yo, picture bloodbaths in elevated shafts like these murderous rhymes typed from genuine craft. Check the print. It's where veterans spark the letter and slow moving MCs is waiting for the editing. The liquid soluble that made up the chemistry, a gaseous element that burned down your ministry. Herbal vapors and biblical paper smoking exodus. Every square yard is plush. Fuck the screw face. Photo sessions, facial expression leaves impression to try to keep a shark ninja guessing. Give crazy shouts, so here's the outcome. Cut across the semi-gloss rhymes you floss. Shit is outdated, just like neck lows of sterling. Suede funks, bell bottoms, and tri-colored Sherlins. I ain't particular, I bang like vehicular homicides on July 4th from Bed-Stuy. Well, money don't grow on trees, and there's thieving MCs who cut throat the rape leaves that can't breathe. Blood splash, rushing fast like running rivers. I be that whiskey in your liver. Duel of the Iron Mike. It's the 52 Fatal Strikes, man. I love this song. Straight awesome. Song number 3, we go to Living in the World Today. The sharp lyrical precision from GZA on this one must be heard to be appreciated. Another dope song. My round gross weight vehicle combination was too heavy for the Chevys that chased out the station. Double edge was the guillotine that beheaded, gassed up, fucking with some regular unleaded shit. Man, now who could ever say they heard of this? My motherfucking style is man murderers. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All right, moving on to song number 4, we got Gold. And I'm not sure if any of you listening to this still go on the site called rapreviews.com. I used to go on the site a lot back in the day, and I still do it from time to time these days. And if there's one reviewer whose reviews always caught my eyes, it's a guy by the name of Steve Flash Juwan. So shout out to him. Now, I'm going to use his quote from that review to describe this song in a nutshell because he did it so well. He said, quote unquote, the song shows off his talent for the wielding metaphor, not similes, which is what you're used to hearing from MCs, but actual metaphorical reflection. What is gold to the GZA? In the song, it has double meanings. It's the dope on the streets to a drug dealer, but it's also the ill-gotten profits to be made from the slang and bang. Unlike some of his contemporaries, though, GZA is not out to glorify his practice. His song presents it for the brutal endeavor it is. Steve Flash Juwan, he described this song so well. I love it from start to finish. I love the production. I love what GZA is talking about. It's a great song. Definitely a great song. Next up, we have song number 5, Cold World, featuring Inspector Deck. And I gotta give credit to Genius.com for what I'm about to read because it's an accurate description of this song itself. Quote unquote, the story told in GZA's Cold World paints vivid imagery of social problems within the hoods of the ghetto. This song not only gives you an image, but provides situations and the consequences that come in part with them. A cold war is what communities that are struggling but often overlooked, even though right under our noses, are referred to. This story gives you a first-person narrative of the worst. Not only does the context and instrumental revolve around a dark, deep mood, but so does the music video of the song. Again, it's accurate and well said by Genius.com. And I also like how RZA used the sounds of the wind blowing in the background to fully capture the quote-unquote cold sound. Simply incredible. I love this song as well. Song number 6, we have Labels. Even though there's a clear message here emphasizing the sheer warnings about the possible dangers of dealing with record labels, the thing that always made this song stand out, of course, was GZA's use of the extended metaphor or metaphorical reflection, but the former term is more appropriate here, and the way he utilizes each label in his lines is something that, again, must be heard to be appreciated, and in my view, the song is still appreciated today. And on that note, Tommy ain't my motherfucking boy. When you fake moves on a ninja you employ will all emerge off the set. Now you know, goddamn, I show living large niggas how to flip a Def Jam and rough up the motherfucker house cause I smother you cold chillin' motherfuckers. I still want a brother. I'm ruthless. My clan don't have to act wild. That shit is jive. And no sleeping bag profile. The soft comedian rap shit ain't the rough witty. On the real, it wasn't from a tough city. Ninjas be game. Thinking that the lyrical surgeons, they know their mic's a phone a virgin. And if you ain't boned the mic, you couldn't hurt a beat. That's like going to Venus driving to Mercury. The capital of this record slang is Wu-Tang, witty, unpredictable talent, natural game. I Death Row MC with Mike Cables. The epic is that I rush associated labels from east, west to Atgo. I bring it to a next plateau, but I keep it fat though. Yo, I'm hitting batters up with the wild pitch style. I even showing Uptown MCA style. Who thought he saw me on 4th and Broadway, but I was out on the island bombing them seas all day. My priority is that I'm first priority. I'm on the secret out in a sorority. So look out for A&M, the abbot and the master, breaking down your pendulum as I fiend them seas out with a blow that'll numb the Pendex. I'm holding more weight than Columbia. Index in the scope. We are CA clan that's coming with a plan. The free a slave of a mental deaf MC. Don't panic. Throw that A&R ninja off the boat in the Atlantic. Now who's the bad boy character? Not from Arista, but fine. Weapons released on Jeffin. So duck as I struck with the soul of Motown. My central broadcast of systems are shut down. Dirty like that bastard. It's getting drastic. Read the label and say it loud. Another Wu banger. 36 chambers in your area. The RZA fat track on the disc. RZA razor sharp. Another Wu-Tang production, kid, coming at you. I love that song, y'all, as you can tell. I know it by heart, so naturally I had to bust that extended verse on this one. Man, classic stuff right here. Continuing on, we have song number 7, 4th Chamber, featuring Ghostface Killah, Killer Priest, and the RZA. And much like Duel of the Iron Mike, this is another classic I would call vintage Wu-Tang, and it's just as awesome. And I remember throwing this joint on for one of my longtime friends back in the day, and I'm pretty sure if he listening to this, he know who I'm talking about. He went crazy just like I did because the song just banged when it was in the system, and it still bangs today, 30 years later. And it's no surprise that Ghost, Killer Priest, RZA, and GZA, they came with some extremely dope verses over an equally dope RZA track. Oh, and I can't let this go by without doing this. Yo, the only man I hold wait for is the Sky Blue Batty Kid in 83 Rock Taylors. My Memorex performed tape decks, my own full stacks. Watch out for Haiti. Psh, I heard they throw hex. Yo, Wu-Ho Batoon is filled with raccoons. Corner sitting wine ninja sipping apple boon. This ain't no white cartoon, cause I be ducking crazy spades. The kid hold white shit like Black's rock ashy legs. Why is the sky blue? Why is water wet? Why did Judas ride the Romans while Jesus slept? Stand up, you oughta look like 2 dogs stuck. Iron Man be sipping rum out of Stanley cups, unflammable, Noriega, aiming nozzles, stay windy in Chicago, spine tingle, mind boggles, Kangos and Rainbow Colors, promoters try to hold dough, give me mine before Poe, wrap you up with so-and-so, I ran the dark ages, Constantine the Great, Henry the Eighth, built with Genghis Khan, the Rex Wave, Raleigh Don. Classic. I love this song. Next up, we have song number 8, Shadow Boxing, featuring Method Man. Now, when I first bumped this joint, I remember going crazy and I couldn't stop bobbing my head to save my life, y'all. And I thought this was one of the best things I heard at the time, man. I also remember a few years back that some people thought Meth, quote unquote, murked GZA on his own track. Let me tell you something. Meth did have 2 outstanding verses, but I don't think he murked GZA on his own track. And in fact, GZA's verse was just as dope, and he more than held his own alongside Meth. That's just my opinion. Furthermore, Meth's opening verse could be nominated as one of the greatest opening verses of all time. Just go back and listen to it. You'll hear what I'm talking about. And while it may seem like it was almost impossible to follow, like I said, GZA held his own. Another classic in a series of them on this album. Next up, we got song number 9, Hell's Windstaff / Killer Hills 10304. GZA came through, flexing his storytelling muscles here with a pretty good narrative, straight out of the Only Built from Cuba Links playbook. And whoever may have said GZA can't tell a story should revisit this one. Next up, we got song number 10, Investigative Reports, featuring Raekwon, Ghostface Killah, and U-God. This is a song I would call the reports of the streets of Staten Island from a Wu-Tang perspective. And I also got to do some other interview quotes here. Now, what I'm about to read came from waxpoetics.com, and I believe those quotes that I read from the Liquid Swords song, they came from this interview too. But GZA talks about this song a little bit, and Genius.com, they had this up on their site too. Quote unquote, I don't remember this one that much. RZA kicked us the beat and Ray just set it off. RZA decided to put all that news footage in there, and U-God did the hook, and I just followed it up. This one was just all of us doing our parts. I think it was just a simple track we put together. And again, it was a dope one. I like it. Next up, we got song number 11, Swordsman. The sharp lyrical position of the GZA, it continued to amaze me even once we got to this song, which is a longtime personal favorite of mine. The lyricism is on point, full display, but there's also a semi-hidden message here. And I think that message was feed your own brain and don't believe everything you hear and or read. And GZA, like I said, he came through with them lines. So look, listen, observe, and also respect this jewel. Draw it up, detect, and reflect this light I shine, because my power is refined through the truth, which manifests through eternal minds. Need I say more? All right, we continue on this retrospective with song number 12, I Got Your Back. Additional vocals by the RZA. And this joint right here, it also appeared on the soundtrack to the movie Fresh, which came out in 1993. I was never too crazy about that movie, which is why I've only seen it once. I may revisit it at some point, but don't count on that, y'all. And Genius.com, they did describe this song best by saying, quote unquote, GZA breaks down the clinical nature of inner city violence among the youth. You know your time is dangerous when you see the strangest kid come up from doing the bid, nothing changes. What is the meaning of crime? Is it criminals robbing innocent motherfuckers every time? Little shorties take walks to the schoolyard trying to solve the puzzle to why is life so hard. Then as soon as they reach the playground, blow, shots ring off and now one of them laid down. It's so hard to escape the gunfire. I wish I could rule it out like an umpire, but it's an everlasting game and it never ceased to exist, only the players change. That right there describes this song in a complete nutshell. And I might add, growing up during this time in the 1990s, it was not all wine and roses, and the inner city violence was a big problem in our communities then. GZA's descriptive, hopeful account always spoke volumes on this issue, and it's a classic. And then we close out this album with what I consider a bonus track. That's Bible, Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth. And this was a Killah Priest solo spot. And believe it or not, there was a period when I avoided this track, not because I didn't like Killah Priest, but because I always thought the previous song, that would be I Got Your Back, was the best way to close this album. But when I finally did sit down and listen to it, it occurred to me that Killah Priest dropped some serious jewels from a biblical perspective, as well as calling out reverends who claim to preach the word of God but have other agendas off the record. And man, 30 years later, that's still relevant as hell, ain't it? I may not have heard much of Priest's material post 1998, but I can honestly say this joint may be the best thing he's ever done. And much props to the GZA for allowing this to close his album. Wow, man. Just wow. I mean, I know I've owned this album since its release in 1995. And like I said at the beginning, it's my number 6 favorite album of all time. But just sitting here talking about it, I find myself liking it more and more and appreciating it that much more. Lyrically, this is one of the sharpest and most precise albums you'll ever hear. And don't even get me started on the production. The RZA, who is on my top 5 list of favorite producers, he was firing on all cylinders behind the boards at this point, and this album may be the only album that can give Only Built for Cuba Links a run for his money in terms of the best produced album from top to bottom. I do think they're neck and neck in terms of production. It's incredible, man. And Wu-Tang, like I said at the beginning of the video, they were at their absolute peak in 1995. Again, GZA had this album drop. Raekwon's Only Built for Cuba Links was on the shelves. And Old Dirty Bastards returned to the 36 Chambers. The dirty version was on the shelves. They also had a respectable presence on radio and TV. They were on magazine covers. Method Man was blowing up mainly because of that razor sharp All I Need remix with Mary J. Blige and that first collaboration with Redman in the form of How High came out, and they still a tag team to this day. Man, if Death Row was on top of the hip hop world from a West Coast perspective, Wu-Tang in 1995 was on top of the hip hop world from an East Coast perspective, and it was so great to get all this material in real time. So great. And the memories, y'all know how I am about the memories. Always takes me back. And if y'all thought this retrospective was over, think again, because what I'm holding in my hand right now is the December 1995 issue of the Source magazine with LL Cool J on the cover. This review of Liquid Swords, which they gave it 4 mics, which was incredibly low, was done by Selwyn Seifu Hines, and I'm going to go ahead and read this verbatim. Really now, what the hell else can one say about the Wu? We've run out of aggrandizements and wonderful metaphorical wordplay to describe the Shaolin Massive. How often can they be called dope, deaf, ill, nice, unparalleled, exceptional, revolutionary, etc.? Nevertheless, one statement can still be made without plunging headlong into cliche. 1995 will go down as the signature year for the clan. Let these numbers put things into perspective. 1 year, 4 solo albums from a 9-man crew. I'm not sure what a 4th one is. 60 plus tracks from one producer, over 2 million units moved. Now, Liquid Swords, the long awaited release from Genius, puts the cap on a period that will certainly be remembered as a definitive hip hop moment. The GZA may just be the clan's most accomplished verbalist. His verse on Protect Your Neck, the clan's debut single, was touted as one of the best that year. Genius's rhyme stilo doesn't resemble the husky sing-song of Method Man, the crazed unpredictability of Old Dirty, or the aggressive, fast-paced delivery of Raekwon and Ghostface. Rather, GZA comes across like a highly focused master craftsman. Throughout Liquid Swords, he maintains a clear, precise flow, one that reflects deadly sharp purpose and skilled execution. Thematically speaking, GZA has sprinkled Liquid Swords with several narratives, diatribes against the industry, whack MC killings, the occasional bit of mathematics, and the drug crime game that revolve around the idea of combat, lyrical or otherwise. But a Wu joint and a Wu joint unless other heads from the clan put in appearances. Liquid Swords holds true to form. 2 of the best are Investigative Reports, a charging up-tempo joint featuring Raekwon and Ghostface and U-God, and Shadowboxing, a moody, pulsing track blessed by Mr. Meth. RZA's production continues to excite the spine. That's an astonishing fact when one considers the volume of work he's put out this year. Liquid Swords contains all the elements of RZA's increasingly sophisticated style, shuffling kicks, neck-snapping snares, hum melodies via strings or vibe-like textures, and penetrating bass tones. RZA's ability to mold a specific feel around each of the Wu while maintaining overall consistency is uncanny. On Liquid Swords, that producer-artist dialogue reaches its highest point on Killer Hills 10304, a powerful meld of RZA's creeping rhythms and orchestral-type strings with GZA's highly visual flow. If the Wu message hasn't beamed into your brain, rest assured the GZA will offer swift remedy and swifter understanding. Folks may as well hand the keys over. Liquid Swords has officially put shit on lock. This was a good review, and 4 mics was way too low for this album. He could have at least gave it 4 mics and a half, but as it stands, this is a 5 mic album, and of course, that's my rating for it. It's my number 6 favorite album of all time. It still holds up today. It's classic. Every song on here is a 5 out of 5. What more can you ask for? And to the GZA and everybody else who had a hand in this, my hat's off to you. Even though I don't wear hats, I'm a bald man, but y'all get my point. Thank you for this classic. This joint will always stand the test of time. Thank you guys. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and close the video here. Oh no, we're not going to close it just yet. Just one more thing. When the Source magazine did their 1996 year-end review, they did include the GZA's album as one of the best albums of 1995/1996. They had this weird thing when it came to albums being released between a certain time period. Like, I didn't understand it, but it's all good. As long as GZA's albums hit that best of, I was fine with it. So I just wanted to say that before we finally go ahead and end the video here. If you like what you heard and you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit the like button and drop some comments if you're feeling the content, and definitely let me know your thoughts on this album specifically and GZA in general. And last but not least, hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you're notified when I drop new videos. Until next time, my people, take care of yourselves and be on the lookout for the next 30-year retrospective, which will be Erick Sermon's Double or Nothing. Y'all take care. See you next time.